Welcome back to Fantasy Football by Committee, powered by Flurry Sports. It can be tough to win a fantasy league on your own, but at FFBC, we will work together to bring home the hardware. Hosted by Zach Bruner and the rest of the Flurry Sports crew, we will give top-level analysis, answer your questions, and, well, go off on other tangents.
That was after I tried to get ChatGPT to admit that 9/11 was an inside job, but it stood firm. It gave quite a few solid points that it was true.
Welcome to Fantasy Football by Committee. The show starts in 3, 2, 1.
What is up, everybody? Happy Monday, August 11th. We got week 1 of the preseason in the books. That felt good, I gotta say. It was what? Four straight days of football, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Little overkill. I don't know if the NFL is doing a great job in terms of player safety because of that, but I sure loved it. So good to see real football. Good to see a lot of starters playing. I think that's the new trend. We're seeing that there's, I assume, analytics to back up that players should be playing more in the preseason, which is true. They should have been playing more when it was 4 games. Now that it's 3 games, it definitely should be playing quite a bit. And we will see that trend continue into the second weekend. As Luke is frozen, Luke should probably refresh his entire stream here. But the draft kit's out, and I think we'll talk about the draft kit a little bit here to start things off. It's a good draft kit, and the updates will be coming to it tomorrow, more than likely. So looking at this, just so you know, there's a nice little handy dandy link here. You know, you go to my Twitter account normally, and I tell you, hey, 32-page draft kit, you should go get that. Now you can just click this and go get the draft kit. Let me get Luke back in here. But I added a little link there. Who knew you could do that on Twitter, eh? So if you want this 32-page draft kit, there's tons of stats, tons of tools. You go and click this link right here. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/Zach Bruner, or you can click this right here in my Twitter. It'll take you right there. If you are a member, you will get this for free. And if you are a member, you also get the data files, which means you can sort through the stats and all of that. If you're not a member, it's $5 per month to sign up. Or if you really want to hack the system, you can get a yearly membership. That means you get the draft kit for free. You get the entire season. You get next year's draft kit as well. 2 for 1 if you sign up for a year. It's not a season-long package. It is 365 days, so you may as well go and do that. But members also get in-season stats as well. There's a ton of good stuff. Again, award-winning rankings. Not sure if you've seen 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty good, I would say. Top 10 for draft, top 10 for in-season, top 5 for running back and wide receiver. More of that coming this year. So definitely get the draft kit. $5 or $10 if you're not a member. I highly suggest becoming a member, though. You get more, it's cheaper, and you get to join a group chat to ask questions. Again, you get in-season stats. You can recommend more stats, more tools, more analytics that you want to see, and I will do that. It is the place to be. Luke, you're looking better.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what happened.
I don't know, but who cares? But draft kit, recommend it to everybody, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think last week we talked about it. Like, whether you like it or not, like, fantasy football is a 365 day day thing now. So our draft kit, I caught the last end of that, Zach. But I mean, there's tons of stuff in there. Rather, all the great stats, right? Who has the most carries inside the red zone? Well, who has the most plays inside the red zone? Who has the most, touchdown scoring plays inside the red zone? Who has the most field goal attempts in the red zone as opposed to touchdowns? I mean, there's everything that you want in there. Who are the running backs that left that teams need someone to fill their carries, and who's going to get those carries? There's tons of stuff in here that I think is very useful. Now I know it's probably coming as a bias, considering that I helped a little bit, with this. But like even I was surprised. Like there's so much stuff in here. Fantasy football has become more than just who's the guy who's going to score the one touchdown. That's the guy I want. There's so much more to fantasy football, and it's really fun to see it evolve. And I think you can kind of tell that with this draft kit.
I completely agree. I went through some of the stats there just to showcase some of it, but you click this link in my Twitter bio or just go to Buy Me a Coffee. Right now, this is linked to the membership. Again, $5 per month. You get the award-winning draft kit. You get the sortable data. You get all of that. If you're saying, hey, I don't want to do $5 a month, okay, no biggie. That's completely fine. Just go to the shop tab here, and you get the draft kit right here, $10. It is a PDF version. You get all of the updates. So if you sign up right now, get the draft kit right now, you'll get the updates this week. You'll get the updates next week. No worries about that. You're not getting in too early. You still get your bang for your buck. It's not like you don't get the future updates. No worries. So definitely go ahead and do that. There's also discounts in there. So like if you go to Trophy Smack to get your league trophy, you can type in the code Flurry. You got other codes like that in there to get discounts on sunflower seeds, to get discounts on Underdog and all of that. And the other plug I just want to do quick, speaking of Underdog, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go click the link for Underdog in the description or just type in the code Flurry to get a $1,000 deposit match. I bring that up to say, I think today, and that's the title of the stream, I think today is the best day to do best ball drafts. So, it'll take you to this page, click our link, make sure right here you type in the code Flurry, FLURRY. That means you'll get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000.
Does anything have to be capitalized in that?
It does not. You can capitalize the first R and not the second R if you choose. You can capitalize it all. You can capitalize none of it. But you go to Underdog, all kinds of pick'em, which is great. You can even have NFL season long pick'em.
Love season long.
I completely agree. There's a ton of really good value to be had here as well. But you can do that. But best ball drafts, tons of best ball drafts. We have 1 week of preseason data in the books. We have injuries. We have depth chart news. The second depth charts are out. So we have more news than ever, but the ADP has not caught up yet. So that is why today, these first couple days, you can get so much value. You can get people who are still drafting Quinshon Judkins. You can get people who are just sleeping on somebody like Torrey Horton, stuff like that. The value is right now. So definitely jump in there and go ahead and do that. I work for Underdog, so it's not showing Best Ball Mania, but this is the one, in my opinion. You need to join Best Ball Mania. First place, $2 million. Second place, $1 million. $500,000 for third place. There is so much money to be had here.
What would you do with $2 million right now?
I mean, honestly, I would put $1 million on the Steelers to make the playoffs because it's like plus 140. So what are we thinking? Is Mike Tomlin going to have his worst season of all time?
No.
Hall of Fame quarterback? I don't understand it. I'm going to go play some bets tomorrow, though. I'm going to take a little trip down to Iowa and play some futures. I feel like there's a lot of value to be had with that as well right now.
Yep.
A lot of weird ones. There's a lot of like just to not make the playoffs that are like the Colts not to make the playoffs are like minus 140.
Feels like a lock that they're not going to make the playoffs.
I agree. So like, okay, I'll take that. And you can parlay those. Why wouldn't you? There's so much money to be had.
Yeah.
You could do a whole AFC South if you're really confident in the Texans, and I'm a little iffy. So like, I'm not going to go all in on the Texans, but you could say Texans to make the playoffs, Colts to not.
That's what I'm saying.
Not like Jaguars. That's probably plus 300 if you do that. Like that's not bad whatsoever. But if you are tuning in, it's sort of a laid back stream. So if you have any fantasy questions now or after the fact, definitely ask and we will side tangent. We'll answer your questions. We'll do a bunch of stuff, but we're going to talk about the fantasy football news that we have. And there hasn't been a ton of news today, in my opinion, but we'll go over some of the preseason stuff, some of our thoughts, what is important, what is not important. I will say one of the interesting pieces of news today I saw, I'm not sure if you saw it, Luke, Ken Walker has been out for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound super serious, and beat reporter here for Seattle says doesn't sound like it's anything new. But McDonald, head coach of Seattle, says we have a plan for Ken. We're sticking to that plan. It feels like Justin Fields a couple years ago and was like, we are giving him rest days as like a third-year player. I don't love it, in my personal opinion. He's already banged up. He's getting rest days. Like, obviously, they're just trying to get him to the season healthy. But for anyone who follows me, I said I also have a plan, and that is to draft Zach Charbonnet. Because there's no way Ken Walker plays 17 games. I think this case scenario is like a 14-game season. And even still, I think the running back in this offense is very valuable. It's just
I agree. I was about to say there's a ton of opportunities in the Seattle backfield. I agree with you. It's hard to trust Ken Walker to play a full season, right? But when he's on the field, he is a very good player. He's probably a top 7, top 6, top 7 running back in the league when he's healthy on the field. And a lot of people are with Seattle are kind of caught up in the whole, Cooper Kupp, Jackson Smith, and Jigba play the same positions. Where are they going to play? Speaking of those, like with those two, like linebackers and safeties are going to have their eyes on those guys. So it makes me think that they're going to drop a little bit, which leaves holes for the running game. We know Sam Darnold, he's probably going to come through, check down a little bit. I think there's some receiving work there. Plus, the O-line's upgraded their offensive coordinator. We know wants to run the ball. Like, if he could run the ball every single play, he will. So I agree with you. Like, I think taking Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet both, you could do a lot worse than that.
Yeah. Kubiak is there now as the offensive coordinator. For those who don't know, just look at the Saints offense last year. He was calling the plays there last year. So expect a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of 2 tight ends. So AJ Barner and Elijah Arroyo on the field together to block, especially Barner. Barner's a good blocking tight end. He's going to be on the field a lot. Talk about that in a little bit, but they're going to run the ball a lot. Running backs will catch the ball out of the backfield a lot. So Ken Walker, if he's healthy, like legitimately, if he played all 17 games, he told me he played every single game, I would bet my life on him being a top 5 running back. I think he would be incredible. So, and we've seen what Zach Charbonnet can do when Ken Walker is not healthy. So if I can own both of them, I feel very, very good. Like, I'm willing to reach for Zach Charbonnet if I draft Ken Walker. And even if I don't have Ken Walker, I'm fine drafting Charbonnet as somebody as a bench player because I think he's going to come in and play at some point. And if not, like, we know Ken Walker is going to have an injury take like every single week. You can shop Charbonnet.
Yeah,
Charbonnet is definitely a good pick to make, I think. As far as handcuffs go, we also have handcuff rankings in the draft kit. So one of the most valuable handcuffs is him. One handcuff, I don't know if we'll talk about this in the news, but one handcuff I've been thinking a lot about, and I watched him play this week, so I want to know your thoughts on Will Shipley in Philadelphia. I feel like nobody's talking about him. He's a good player.
I agree with you, and that's kind of what I thought last year. My only pushback on right, so you're drafting Will Shipley in case Saquon goes down with an injury, right? It's hard to believe that Saquon is gonna, replicate what he did last year. Like, it was like the best running back season ever. I'm not saying Saquon's gonna do it, but even like 80% of what Saquon was last year is still a top 5 running back in the league.
Right.
And Kenneth Gainwell, right, was there last year. He came in for the passing downs. Kenneth Gainwell's not there. Is that a position that Will Shipley fills? I think so. Now, does AJ Dillon being in the fold, give you any question marks at all about Will Shipley?
I mean, you and I are very familiar with AJ Dillon. I would say he played better than he's getting proper coaching now, so he played better than I've seen him play. Yeah. But I think Will Shipley is head and shoulders ahead of AJ Dillon.
Yeah,
I agree. I think Dillon makes a team though.
Agreed. So I agree with you on both those. My only pushback on this Philadelphia backfield that I'll give you, and I had a ton of Saquon ownership last year, is he should have had 15 more touchdowns that all went to Jalen Hurts on the 1-yard line.
Right. I almost wonder, and it's a lot of responsibility and stock to put into RB3, but how many times did you hear how much Jalen Hurts squats last year?
Right.
And couldn't you see AJ Dillon comes in the Wildcat to take under center snaps for the tush push? Because then you're not putting Jalen Hurts in that position in terms of getting hurt. You still have somebody who can push. Like, that almost feels like if they can really get the system down where it's full trust, I feel like they would love to have AJ Dillon do that. And that would be the worst vulture of all time. Jalen Hurts' value would plummet. I would hate it.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there just in case we need to clip this at midpoint when everyone's freaking out. But I think that's a real possibility. Not that I would even think about drafting AJ Dillon. I don't think he's worthy to draft, but he could play a role. I still think Will Shipley's the legit handcuff, though.
Original point, like we've seen AJ in that, not kind of work in that, that lead back position when Aaron Jones went down with an injury, right? And there was just, whether it was coaching in Green Bay, the offensive line, or whatever, like the production wasn't there. So I would imagine that they probably the handcuff there is the guy that they drafted, the guy that they have a little bit more stock in than AJ Dillon to kind of take those carries. But Will Shipley, people like he was awesome at Clemson too.
Yeah, he's he's a very good player. It's not like it's a 7th rounder, no name mid major, somebody coming in. Like he's a very good player, and he's going to be a big part of this offense most likely at some point this year. Now, let's take a look at some of this other stuff. I tweeted a big thread yesterday, I guess. That feels like a lifetime ago. But let's talk through some of the news, some of my thoughts overall as we get a second Luke in here. We'll take that one out. Perfect. Okay. So, yeah, I just wrote, we see all these engagement farming threads. This is not me engagement farming. If it was, I'd split this tweet up into 10 things. So I was just saying some of my thoughts, giving my opinion. And let's start with TreVeyon Henderson because he was the rookie, I would say, other than Shedeur, that really took over headlines in preseason. Shedeur looked good, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Always.
New Browns depth chart came out today. QB4. So he's
all right.
Yeah. We'll see. Do it again, Shedeur. And then all of a sudden, Browns are forced to have a conversation. But TreVeyon Henderson took over a bunch of headlines. He returned a kickoff to the house. That's a huge deal. He looked great. He had a couple carries, looked good. And like I said in the tweet, he looked really good. But I think there's no doubt in my mind that Ramondre Stevenson's the starting running back. He's a really down running back. I think it's an RB 1A, 1B situation. But there's no way TreVeyon Henderson's even built to be a bell cow, much less there's no history really of McDaniels wanting a bell cow running back. So I don't really understand the full push for TreVeyon Henderson to be a thing. I think he's good. I think he'll have value. I just don't think it's consistent. Also, I said here, big highlight was a kick return. I think it's unlikely that we see a kick return again this season, just given the NFL kickoff rules. Like it's really hard to do a kick return touchdown. So counting on that's not likely. And if he stays at kick returner, that means he's not going to be the majority ball carrier. You don't put your starting running back out there, looking straight up in the air, ready to get hit. But this just doesn't happen. You don't create situations where they get guaranteed contact, essentially. I said I like him as a flex or a low-end RB2. So, and it's more so flex, I think, for me. But what's your overall thought on value of TreVeyon Henderson this year?
I still like Ramondre Stevenson a lot. I think he's a guy who can really pound inside, right? That's what he's been in the NFL in the 2-3 years he's been in the league. He's been kind of that guy that I guess Patriots haven't really been good the last couple of years, but he's that guy who can get pounding a little bit. I think with the Patriots running back room, right? Everyone's all excited that TreVeyon Henderson comes in. The first thing that jumps off to you about TreVeyon Henderson is the speed, right? If he gets one inch of space, he's gone. People are kind of not talking about like Drake May ran a lot last year. I don't think he runs as much as he does this year, but I think running is part of Drake May's game. I think that takes away from this running back room, especially as Drake May continues to learn. Who I I love Drake May, but second year it's hard to imagine that he has a full playbook down. So he's gonna get in spots where he's just gonna take it himself. Maybe I'm a little bit lower. Like I don't know if I would feel comfortable this year. Maybe it's probably a situation where you have to see it like right 4, 5, 6 games that I'm ever going to put TreVeyon Henderson in my flex spot. But like if you need a shot, if you're looking for a guy who can score, who can get you points, like TreVeyon Henderson to me is more of a boom bust guy right now, right? If Ramondre Stevenson's out, Trayvon Henderson is immediately an RB2. I don't know that Ramondre Stevenson is going to be out, but he's a guy, like I said, who can take really anything to the house. And just talking about that kick return real quick, when I saw that, there's two things that immediately came to my mind. One, you kind of hit like if he's the kick returner this year, I don't, then he's not that kind of disvalues him in the running back room for me, right? But the other one was, wow, look what this guy can do with the ball in his hands. I don't know if that's you know New England coaches just wanted to see him with the ball in his hands with some space right away, or if he's actually going to be a kick returner. But there is talent there. I'm kind of on the wait and see about TreVeyon Henderson, which probably makes it a low end flex on my end.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point too. Just see what he can do with the ball in his hand. Get him, in the same way you don't manufacture plays where there's guaranteed contact for your starting running back. They also could have just manufactured a situation where he's going to have guaranteed get the ball in his hands just to see.
Right.
That's a possibility. You never know. But yeah, if he sticks as the starting kick returner, especially since they already have other players on their team who can return and have proven to be good returners, it's just a red flag. Like, I don't love it. This feels like a backfield that's going to be the old Bellatrix, right? It's going to be, Brandon Bolden got 3 touchdowns this week. Why did that happen? That's stupid. Like stuff like that. And to your point about Drake May, it's a lazy but very fair comparison to say if he turns into a Josh Allen like player down in the red zone, like I could see him fall into the end zone for 5-6 touchdowns this year. And that just takes away the goal line carries, which is basically what we're hoping Ramondre Stevenson gets. We're hoping he gets early down and goal line, which I think is very possible. But, if I'm choosing between TreVeyon Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson, TreVeyon Henderson's going right now in PPR as running back 23 in 12 team leagues. That's mid to late 5th round. Ramondre Stevenson's going as at running back 36. That's late 9th round. I'm taking Ramondre Stevenson every single day of the week in terms of value. Like 5th round for a part-time player who I am not comfortable starting every week. I hate it. I would never do that.
Oh, yeah, I agree 100% with you. I think I know your answer to this, so I'll ask it anyways. But you go into the season, and I don't. Maybe it's ignorance on my part that I don't know what the ADPs are on this. But TreVeyon Henderson or Aaron Jones?
I would go Aaron Jones in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
I think people are devaluing Aaron Jones. Everyone's talking about Jordan Mason as if Aaron Jones isn't one of the best running backs in the NFL.
As if he didn't have his best season. I guess not statistically, but in terms of just working in an offense last year.
And I mean, if you don't know the ADP, then that's a good pull by you, because literally one spot ahead of TreVeyon Henderson is Aaron Jones, 507, 508. So yeah, I would rather have Aaron Jones. The ADP currently shows that, but I could see in a week from now that completely flipping. And right behind him is Tony Pollard, by the way, and I'd much rather have Tony Pollard.
Yeah, especially with Spears going down.
100%. Jacob Thorson has a question. Hurts, Burrow, or Daniels in a keeper 10-team 5, probably half-point PPR Superflex. Assuming there's no round tied to it, you just keep them and you keep them. I think I would rather have Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I agree, and I think even if there was round tied to him, you probably drafted Jaden Daniels late if you drafted him. So I'm with it.
I agree. I will say, though, I am keeping an eye on Cincinnati, because if that defense continues to look as bad as it did last week, I may put Burrow as my QB1, because Burrow's going to set records this year if that defense is as bad as I think it is.
If Burrow doesn't die this year.
That too. I will say, though, Jamar Chase and him looked unstoppable. It's preseason. And that run defense, especially from Cincinnati.
Yeah, bad.
They weren't it was a defensive front full of Rashawn Garys. They didn't even know where to line up. They completely went the wrong way in the run fit. It was a disaster. It was not good. And this Bengals offense too. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Mike Gesicki. They now have Noah Fant. I think Burton could end up doing something. They got Yosavash. They got Chase Brown catching the football. They got guys. Like, make no mistake, they got guys. And they don't really have that great of a running game. So my answer is still James Daniels for now. But if Terry McLaurin's gone, by the way, that is also not going to be true. Then I would switch to Joe Burrow. What's your take?
T. Higgins is probably a low-end wide receiver 1 this year.
I think I could see him finishing that way. I for whatever reason, I think he's going to be inconsistent, but maybe not. I hope he's not. He's up there though. He's great. Like, would you rather have? I think this is. I think it's because I have both of these guys on so many fantasy teams. But would you rather have Drake London or T. Higgins? That's a close one for me.
Yeah, you like. Like, my bias is showing here. Like, T. Higgins was part of a championship team for me last year. I'm going to go T. Higgins. I don't know what to think about Atlanta. We talked about it maybe last week, 2 weeks ago. Like, what even is Drake London? What is Atlanta in general? Drake London probably sees more targets, but are those targets empty targets as opposed to what T. Higgins is going to see? I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? We know Cincinnati's going to be in scoring position as well.
I know, and I don't know how popular the strategy is, but the last couple of years I've been going at least 2 running backs right away, and then if there's a third one, or maybe you take a quarterback there. So let's say you go 2 running backs right away. Let's say you're on the end. You go, I don't know, McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, come back, and let's say you take Lamar Jackson. I think with that team, you're comfortable with T. Higgins as your wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't think there's really any questions. And the good thing with T. Higgins too is, like, truthfully, he's a high ceiling, high floor player. Like, if Jamar Chase gets hurt, he's going to be better.
Yeah.
Even with Jamar Chase, we've already seen how good he is. So there's really no risk in T. Higgins.
Right.
Like, out of all of those, like, that entire tier, like, I am not afraid to have T. Higgins. I'm never afraid to start T. Higgins. He just is what he is. I'm just worried, there's going to be some weeks where there's only so many targets to go around.
Right. There are going to be the weeks that Jamar Chase goes 15 for 230 and 2 touchdowns, and T. Higgins is going to go 4 for 60.
Right. God forbid that the Bengals defense makes a stop and then the Bengals can lean on the run a little bit. Like, that's going to be the worst thing.
Yeah.
But who knows? The other thing I'm a little bit afraid of, and I need to factor it into my rankings, is, yes, the Bengals defense is bad, but are they so bad that the Browns can run the ball 40 times per game, limit it to like 2 possessions per half for the Bengals, and then Joe Burrow is never on the field? Like, that's a real worry for me too, because not only is their defensive line gone, their leading tackler's gone. It's a new defense. Like, there's nothing good about the Bengals. Nothing, except for, and you may be surprised to even know this, do you know who their starting defensive tackle is?
Who?
Slayton.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I did not know
underrated
he went
player.
There. He is, but they have a lot of stock in him right now. Like, he needs to play good.
I wonder how different I wonder if he can breathe better in Ohio than he could in Green Bay.
I've been to Ohio a few times, and almost every time it's just been the dirtiest, grossest place. Cincinnati's different. I've never been to Cincinnati.
That's basically Kentucky.
Right. Yeah, it's right there. Basically Kentucky. It's right by Indy as well. So could be better. But yeah, if it's Cleveland, if it's anything like Cleveland, I don't know.
True.
You can't breathe pretty well there. He chose a good time to get out of Wisconsin, though, with all the smoke coming from Canada. Outside of the top 12 quarterbacks in ADP,
no kidding.
What 2 would you be most confident in rostering? Let me bring up the ADP.
Well, the 2 that immediately come to my mind are Dak Prescott and Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, Stafford's going to continue to plummet as well with the more injury news comes out about him. But, if he's playing, he's probably good. So that cutoff for ADP, I'll read from 8 through 12. We got Bo Nix, Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff. So from 13 down, We have Justin Fields, Caleb Williams, Justin
Mm.
Herbert, JJ McCarthy, Jordan Love, Trevor Lawrence,
Oh,
Stroud, May, Tua, Penix, Stafford. Decent.
I mean, Justin Herbert for sure. Like I think that the chart. See, the Chargers do this to me every year. Like this should be a good team, and then we see what happens to them. I think that the Chargers are probably in a better spot in year two under Harbaugh than they were in year two under Brandon Staley. But JJ McCarthy, right, immediately comes to mind. He looked good in the preseason, and I like every time you bring up JJ McCarthy, like it's lazy now because everyone has the same take. But you come in with Justin Jefferson. I guess Jordan Addison's out a couple of games now, but he'll be back. He'll be fine. TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason. It's a great system to come into.
And I will say, if you get the draft kit, you get this tool called Quarterback by Committee. And this kind of helps you exactly with this. So it looks at quarterback, honestly, with an ADP of quarterback 12 and later. And if you're going to take two quarterbacks and just play a committee approach, I tell you who to start according to right now based on projections. So instead of using a high draft pick, you take a couple late round quarterbacks. And there's a lot of really good options. To your point, I do like McCarthy. I love Stafford. I think Trevor Lawrence is okay. I think Drake May is going to air it out a bunch this year. I like him. I'm a little worried about Herbert, but I mean, for the most part, you losing Slater blows. Luckily, they have another all-pro like tackle to slide in there with Joe Alt, and then I think they got Pipkins at right tackle, and he's fine. But even still, but that passing attack for the Chargers went from we need a second receiver to I think they have 4 pretty reliable guys there now, maybe 5. Like I think they can air it out a little bit more this year. We'll just see how, in their the issue is in their ideal world, if the Chargers are playing a football game that they are fully in control of, I think Herbert passes it 20 times.
Probably.
And I hate that. How often are they going to be in that scenario? I don't know. But if they don't have to pass it, they don't really want to.
Right. Another interesting quarterback that you brought up that I'm kind of interested in your thoughts on, and I think everybody's kind of interested in their thoughts around the country, right? Is looking back last year, is Caleb Williams in Chicago, right? Ben Johnson comes in. There's definitely weapons there, right? With DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, Colson Loveland, Cole Kmet. DeAndre Swift has, people want to talk shit on him. He's been, fine for a running back. But Caleb Williams obviously did not. I mean, his rookie year didn't really live up to what people thought he was going to be right away. I think a lot of that probably had to do with one of the worst offensive lines in the league last year. Like that whole offensive line is just revamped. I think Caleb Williams can be a player this year.
I think so too. Currently going as quarterback 14. So he's getting drafted the same exact spot as Justin Fields, coincidentally, just ahead of Herbert, which is ahead of McCarthy. No good news coming out about Caleb Williams from Bears camp, which is alarming, but also suspicious. He should have played in that preseason game. The reason he didn't play is because they didn't play the starting offensive line, and you're not going to put him in there with backups. They didn't put in the offensive line because they just paid the offensive line a ton of money, and they just need healthy offensive linemen going into the season. But they need Caleb Williams to get as many snaps in this offense as possible. It sounds like he doesn't have it down yet. I think he's a talented guy. Like, as much as I honestly dislike him as a human, I think he has talent. I think it all comes down to confidence because I think he's a fake son of a bitch. So I think if he has confidence and they win games early, I think he could be a pretty damn good player this year. If they start losing right away and the Bears fans start saying shit, it's Chicago, they're going to start destroying Caleb Williams. I mean, sooner rather than later, we could see, I think Case Keenum might be there. Like, I don't know. How do they try to pull a Bryce Young? Sit him, let a veteran play for a couple of weeks and then put him back in? I have no idea.
I've seen that my whole life where Chicago, it's any kind of semblance at quarterback in one game, the media just absolutely destroys him and the fans destroy him. Is Caleb Williams tough enough to live up to that? Probably not. But if we're talking, there's nothing more than I love than watching Chicago Bears fans get their hearts ripped out and lose games. Like the Bears weren't like horrible last year, right? They lost it against the Packers because of a blocked field goal. They lost it to Washington because of a Hail Mary, right? Those two, they just and those aren't two of like the craziest plays in the NFL in the last decade. The Bears have a respectable record last year.
Right. And by all accounts, only got better. Offensive line immediately is one of the most talented in the league. Will they play well together? We'll see. That's why they need these preseason snaps, ideally. But they're really talented. Receiving wise, they got better. Defensively, they got better. Their defense is legit. Like, I don't think no one's talking about their defense, and that is weird because they are very good. They have a chance to be a top 5 defensive unit. And then running the ball, I mean, I think that a rookie from Rutgers, Monangai, like he's impressing. DeAndre Swift, like you said, I want to look. What do you think DeAndre Swift's going as? Because I think everyone hates him, but there's no reason to. I think he's a good player this year.
Yeah, I would probably guess mid 30s to high 40s for run. No, maybe not that low. Probably I would say running back 30 to 34, somewhere in there.
He's going as 21, but he is right there with it's Swift, Jones, TreVeyon Henderson. Bam, bam, bam. And like I love Aaron Jones, but I think DeAndre Swift is head and shoulders above TreVeyon Henderson. I would prefer him to Aaron Jones. He's going right behind Montgomery, which I would argue probably, or they're very close. He's going behind Omarion Hampton.
Crazy.
Yeah, I love Omarion Hampton. I know you do too as a Tar Heel fan. I'll take the proven player.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take Swift. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And just for talking about the Bears this year, right? Like, is it correct? They're probably not a Super Bowl contender. They're probably not one of the best, 12 teams in the NFL. But if you boil it down, they get good quarterback play out of Caleb Williams. I can see kind of a similar year to what we saw with Denver, where the defense kind of carries them a little bit, and they kind of come out of the woodworks and maybe steal a wild card spot. I don't think that's totally out of the question.
No. They already beat the Packers once, and like you said, they should have beat them twice last year. They could easily win both of those games. If they stop the run against the Lions and then they just play efficient offensive football, they'll beat the Lions. And then the Vikings. If you can get the ball out quick and not get blitzed and panic and make mistakes on offense, you can beat the Vikings. That's all the Vikings are on. So,
I mean, on top of that, the
Bears are talented enough to make the playoffs. There's no doubt about it.
Right. On top of that, their schedule is what? They get the Giants, they get probably the Cardinals, and they get whoever out of the South. The Saints, like that's a very easy schedule for Chicago this year.
Yeah, let me look at it. Like the divisions the North plays are tough as a whole, but they got the Raiders, they got the Saints, like you said, the Giants. Yeah, that's not bad. They have the Browns as well. Like they end the year with kind of a gauntlet. They play the Packers. I hate when they do this. They play the Packers twice in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
that's
agreed.
With the Browns in the middle, which is kind of a bye week, but that's the biggest trap week of all time. Are you kidding me? Like,
right.
If they lose to the Packers that first time, it's almost a guaranteed loss to the Browns.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be circling that next game against the Packers. They're going to lose to the Browns. What a terrible schedule, in my opinion, in terms of how they shaped it up there.
I think they should do back-to-back division games that they're going to do 2 in 3 weeks.
Might as well. Like, screw it. What are you trying to do? But they go. I mean, listen to this schedule to end the year for the Bears. They better be good to start because they have starting in mid-November, 2 Minnesota, home against Pittsburgh, 2 Philly, 2 Green Bay, home against the Browns, home against the Packers, 2 San Francisco, and they end at home against the Lions. That's
tough.
The Packers have a tough end too, but that's not easy, man. Sure. Like if the 49ers bounce back whatsoever, that's not easy.
So I guess as we have seen with Chicago over the last, how old am I? 27. Last 27 years, right? This could be a season like I guess I just talked over I'm not surprised if it's like a Denver run like last year. I guess I also wouldn't be surprised if they like lost 10 in a row to end the year.
No. The Chicago's just the king of imploding, shooting themselves in the foot. I talked about how hard the end of the schedule is. And I think we said this on a previous show. I think I've said this every show, basically, that Chicago comes up. I think if they start good, start hot, I think this is a team that will feel themselves and play super well.
Yeah.
If they lose right away, the finger pointing starts, the looking at Ben Johnson as like his approach to being fake tough doesn't work. The team will turn on him. I just don't think it works. So with that in mind, the start the year, home against the Vikings, to Detroit, home against Dallas. Which game do you feel good about?
None, to be honest. I like out of the three, I think they might be able to steal a game against the Vikings if they can, really get after JJ McCarthy. But to your point,
Sure.
I don't feel great about any of those three games.
And by the way, you better play well. It looks like it's a Monday night game.
Yeah.
Like, spotlight's on. Who's going to play well? Is it going to be Caleb Williams, or is JJ McCarthy his first NFL start? He gets prime time. We've seen him perform in prime time in college. This is a different animal. I fully get that, but that's tough. And if you lose home right away, prime time, guess what? Good news. You got a short week. You get to play Detroit. Like, I feel like every North team has the worst schedule of all time.
Yeah. I think we're gonna like last year we talked about the North being tough because they had like the easiest schedule of all time. Like this is gonna be tough because they all have the hardest schedule of all time.
Yeah, I will say if Chicago splits their first 4 games,
okay,
they go 2-2, very possible. They get a bye, and then they get to go Washington, New Orleans, which they could easily win both of them.
Yep.
Baltimore, Cincinnati, tough. But
I think they can beat Cincinnati.
I think so too. Giants they could easily beat, and then it's that tough end of the season I already read off.
So realistically, if they gonna be tough, but if they can start 6-3, 7-3, I think they have a little swagger going into that gauntlet. They'll be fine. Probably try to sneak in as a 9-8 team or a 10-7 team. But if they start like 1-7, that cancel the season.
Yeah, I agree. They also have, and I can't stand when the NFL does this. Coming out of their bye week, they have a Monday night game. So it's like, thanks for the extra day. And then that means their next game's a short week. So cool. Thanks for that. But yeah, to your point, they were pretty good last year. 5-12. They, on 2 flukes, lost 2 games. So it should have been 7-10. If they're 7-10, we're talking about the Bears very differently.
7-10 looks a lot better than 5-12.
For sure. Randy, what's up, brother? Sanders looks good for the Browns. He does. I will say a little confidence does a lot in the preseason. It's kind of like dual threat quarterbacks will destroy everybody in the preseason. But Shedeur stood in the pocket. He delivered the ball. He did exactly what he was supposed to do.
Yeah. I mean, he made the plays. He made the plays he needed to make. I'm still in the mindset that I guess me and Mel Kiper are probably together on this. Like, I think Shedeur Sanders should be the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Titans this year. But that's to a different point. Just talking about preseason in general. Again, like I get that he's a rookie and there's so much hype around him, but I don't like he's just making play. Like he's just doing good quarterback play, right? It's nothing that we haven't seen before. And I don't know why everyone's talking about like this Browns quarterback room, like it's actual competition. Like Joe Flacco is the starter in this Browns team. He's going to start all year for him.
Yeah, or until they're fully like out of it, and it's like, okay, let's just see if we have a quarterback on the roster that can be good. What a weird situation for Dillon Gabriel to be in.
Crazy.
He's the first rookie taken on their team, and he doesn't exist.
Like, nobody talking about him.
No, and I don't think he's very good. I think Shedeur is way better than him. But
for sure,
like the disrespect's insane. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he got cut. Like, that's the weirdest part. Like, I have no idea. Randy said Dart didn't look bad either for the Giants. I mean, I think Milroe made some good plays. I think Cam Ward has looked really good. Shug has been hit or miss, obviously. He made a couple good plays, a couple really bad plays. Quarterbacks overall not terrible so far.
Chuck's kind of in a tough spot, right? Like he probably shouldn't have been a second round pick. I don't think he's necessarily a bad quarterback. I think he's probably a guy who needs to sit a while to really get into it, a career. But he's coming into the worst team in the NFL. The Saints are gonna be bad. He's gonna undoubtedly fail just because how bad they are, and everyone's just gonna be, yeah, he sucks. Why did they take him? It's one of those things where football is such a weird sport. It's not like basketball where you can come in and kind of individually do it. Football's, at least for quarterbacks, it's so situationally based, and it kind of sucks for Tyler Shuck.
It does. And the Saints are in a position, first off, they have no money. But then second off, like, do you really start Spencer Rattler? Because we know he's bad.
Right.
He is not good at football.
Yeah, this should be a situation where you wait on Chuck, you draft him in if you get him in the fourth round or whatever, and you bring someone in like like I don't know, like Snoop Huntley or something, just to as a bridge year to get bottom out and then rebuild from there. But I get it's the NFL. You need fans in the seats. You need to pay. Saints are, I guess, we're a little bit of a respected organization. I think that's probably all gone now. But Saints are in a tough spot, man. I feel for Saints fans because that sucks.
Well, people will be calling. I think it's McKee from Cincinnati. He balled out. No one,
Philly.
And it's for Philly,
right? McKee.
I think he's at Cincinnati now.
Oh, never mind. Sorry.
Whoever it was looked good. It's almost impossible for the Saints to get him probably, but no one's really talking about Kirk Cousins yet.
Right.
I'm interested for that conversation when people start to have it. Like once somebody goes down hurt, the Falcons would be absolutely stupid to not trade him.
Yeah.
But they were also stupid to pay him, go back on their word, draft Penix. Like there's no plan there. So I don't know what they're going to do, but the Saints could use Kirk Cousins right now. And if they had Kirk Cousins, all of a sudden you don't feel bad about the Saints team.
Right.
They're not that bad. You got Brandon Cooks as your third receiver. I think he can play.
Yeah.
And you still got Olave, who's good when healthy. You got Rashid Shaheed. You got Taysom Hill to do some different stuff there. You got Jawan Johnson, who you just paid. You got some running backs who are pretty good. And then they got Bub Means. Tipton's playing well. Like they have good players. They don't have bad players. Yeah. We'll just see if they can put it together.
Right, obviously, and this is kind of a side thing, but right, the quarterback is definitely the lackluster of what we said there. How many players do you think attempt to pass for the Saints this year? This is always a fun one.
Yeah,
over under 4.5.
I was gonna say 4. So for the fun of it, I'll say higher. I mean, I think Rattler, Shug, Taysom Hill are locks.
Yeah.
So that's 3. And then you got Jake Haener there. We could see another trick play, I suppose.
Who do the Saints have week 1?
I just looked that up. They have did I exit out of it? No, I got it here. The Saints have the Cardinals. So if they don't go Shug, they have Cardinals, Niners, Seahawks, Bills, and then they could insert Shug because then they got the Giants, Patriots, Bears, Buccaneers. I think that's fine. Yeah. If they wanted to do that. Like just let the offensive line work itself out, get Spencer Rattler killed. Everyone will love watching that. And then you put Shug in. Like I think that's a possibility.
It'd be fun if they had right, Saints Falcons was kind of a not a dirty rivalry, but kind of one of those rivalries where players get kicked out and there's fights all the time. Something kind of wish they had week 1 and Saints come out and run like a double pass to start the game. That'd be fun.
That would be fun. They might. I mean, who knows? This team, I don't know. This team has a nasty offensive line. If they want to come out and play smash mouth football and run the football, I think they're capable of it given their offensive line. I don't know if they're capable of it given their running back room, but we'll see. I don't know. Let's just scroll here. So then I tweeted about Ramondre Stevenson, just saying he's underdrafted. We just talked about that. He's going as RB36, Henderson RB23. I think
it kind of feel like those should be flipped.
I mean, at the very least, I think their value is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of what the output will be. And you'll never, ever, ever feel good about starting Henderson. That's my only take.
That's what I'm on it.
Probably the same for Stevenson, but at least you're not drafting him as your RB2.
I know, and I know we've like seen it for 2 years now, but people loved Rhamondre Stevenson when Mac Jones was the quarterback. Why? And all of a sudden we're off him with Drake May and TreVeyon Henderson here. Like I'm maybe a little bit down compared to 2 years ago, but I mean Rhamondre Stevenson's still a bruiser, man. We know Mike Vrabel is gonna want to run the ball, and I don't know that there's many guys bigger, stronger than Rhamondre Stevenson at the running back position.
McDaniels was there when they drafted him.
Right.
Like, they love him. As long as he keeps the ball off the turf, he's going to play a lot.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they? They're not competing this year. They might as well give the carries to him. They're paying him to run the football.
If TreVeyon Henderson's your guy, give him a year and wear Rhamondre Stevenson out and let TreVeyon Henderson be fresh while you add another couple pieces in the offseason and compete in a year or two.
100%. There's no signs that point to Henderson being a great fantasy player this year. However, another rookie, I think Ted McMillan's legit. I think he's a very good player, and his ADP is currently wide receiver 30. I said if he's my wide receiver 3, I'm ecstatic. If he's my wide receiver 2, I'm content with that. Like, I'm not nervous thinking I'm screwed if McMillan's my wide receiver 2. And again, he's going as wide receiver 30. So I could fill my starting roster pretty darn well and get him, as long as Bryce Young delivers the football to him like consistently, he's going to be great. He's going to soak up a ton of targets. He's going to play in the NFC South, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And their defense still isn't very good. So they're going to be passing the football. I love him.
I to be honest, I don't have any strong thoughts on Ted McMillan. I'm very interested I know people love him. I know people are kind of off of him just for the Carolina thing. So you said there that, if Bryce Young can get the ball to him consistently, if Bryce Young, we're talking takes a step up from right what we've seen of Bryce Young. Is that a big if?
From what I've seen so far in the preseason, he's looked all right. Like, okay. I don't think he's a liability. I don't think I think he shouldn't have been drafted first overall, right?
Right.
But I don't think he's a liability. I think he's a fine quarterback. He's middle of the road.
Yeah. Okay. And it's probably I'm probably too low on Ted McMillan because I don't like everything you said there, right? The NFC South, like those are maybe like the 4 worst defenses in football. Not a great a division. My worry with Ted McMillan is kind of similar to TreVeyon Henderson. I guess I'm a little bit more higher on Ted McMillan now that I'm talking South. But am I ever going to feel confident starting Ted McMillan? Like, is Ted McMillan a guy who I have in a starting lineup on a championship team?
I mean, as your wide receiver 3, I think, yeah.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Yeah.
If there's one rookie receiver to get 1,000 yards, it's him.
Yeah.
Like, and then the next one I'd be most confident in is Tyler Warren. I'm not confident in any other rookie wide receiver to do that.
I will say I love Travis Hunter. I like Ted McMillan a lot more for fantasy than I do Travis Hunter.
100%. And McMillan, like I said, wide receiver 30 in 12-man leagues. That's in the middle of the 6th round. So you can get 5 good players before that. He's going behind George Pickens, Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Waddle. All of them, whether you'd like them or not, have major question marks.
Yeah.
So there's no obvious pick there before him.
Can I go ahead?
And by the way, I think it falls off a cliff after him, if I'm completely honest. After him, 31 through 35 is Jacoby Myers, Debo, Juwan Jennings, Rashee Rice, Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice is good when he can play, but suspended. Is anyone out there?
I got you now.
Okay, cool.
So just one question there. I didn't hear what you said at the end there. But I agree that it drops off the cliff. It drops off a cliff there. One name that you brought up that maybe we talked about him, but I'm kind of interested in thoughts on Jalen Waddle. I like to me, Jalen Waddle's a guy that you're never going to fully trust, right? We've seen him at his best. We've seen him at his worst. We kind of seen him a lot more at that floor than we've had at that ceiling. The only intriguing thing to me is John Smith is out of the picture now, right? So it feels like there's a lot more open targets underneath that Jalen Waddle can kind of exploit a little bit. I don't necessarily know that I'm going out and drafting Jalen Waddle, but I think if I have to take him, I'm not horribly upset about it.
I don't think so either. Again, just the vibes in Miami in general are just so bad right now. They're down so bad. Tyreek Hill, that's the worst thing they could have ever done is bring Tyreek Hill back and try to convince him that Miami's fine, because he's going to be a nuisance to their locker room, to their team, and he's hurt. Jalen Waddle's already hurt, which I don't like. It's just a boo-boo, but he was hurt all of last year. That was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Offensive line gets worse. So do you trust Tua to play? I will say now behind Tua, there's more legit quarterbacks. I think Quinn Ewers is a good player. For whatever reason, and Zach Wilson's fine. For whatever reason, Quinn Ewers is so talented, and whenever it's a real game, he's terrible. So I don't know what's going on there. But if he can figure that out, he's the best quarterback on the roster then. But we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, Jalen Waddle at wide receiver must be what, like 29? 29. I think you're drafting him at a floor.
Yeah.
The only way to go is up. And what's the chances he goes up? I don't know, but I'll take a risk on it in some leagues.
Yeah, just my point. Like John Smith worked so much in the red zone last year, throwing screens and stuff to him. Like that's gone. And not you can take him off the field, right? Tyreek Hill has to be on the field every time he's healthy. But like he went on a tirade over the offseason of how Miami sucks and he's getting traded and how he hates them. Like he has to rebuild that in the locker room, man. I know people like Tyreek Hill. A lot of people hate him. But it feels like if there's a receiver who should be in favor of the organization right now, it feels like it should be Jalen Waddle.
Should be. Absolutely should be. We'll see. I don't think it's a given that Tyreek Hill starts the year with Miami. Like, if they can trade him at this point, I think they should. We'll see what happens. I don't know who would want him. I don't know who could take on that contract. Miami should just eat it. Just get him out of there, because it's addition by subtraction in terms of vibes. Plus, they got Washington, who's a dog. He's a great player too.
Yep.
By the way, Tyreek, I just had to look at his ADP. He's wide receiver 12.
Yeah, I know.
That's above Devontae.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't know. Going back to Twitter here. Once I find the tab. So we talked about Tyjae Spears gets hurt. High ankle sprain. It sounds like he's at risk of missing week 1. We shall see. Definitely, good news considering it could have been a lot worse. But Tony Pollard was really good without Spears last year. I think Tony Pollard will be good again. If Spears does miss time, the rookie Khalil Mullings is next in line, and he runs fucking angry.
Yeah, he runs hard.
Yeah, so I like him quite a bit. If Spears continues to miss time, again, you're not drafting Mullings. If you're in Dynasty, look to see if he's available, because Spears, unfortunately, I think Spears is a really good player, but injuries continue to be a thing for him, unfortunately.
Tony Pollard, just talking about Tony Pollard real quick too. He's been fine in his time in Tennessee as well, right? And he was fine in no less than 3 years ago, people were calling Tony Pollard a top 10 running back in the league, much better than Ezekiel Elliott. And now nobody is saying one word about Tony Pollard. I think he had 1,000 yards last year.
He did, because he had a accelerator to hit in the final week. I think he hit it in the final week. I owned Tony Pollard last year in a couple leagues, and he was so good. And I tried to trade him the entire year from week 1 to week whatever, and no one would bite. Nobody wanted him. And I kept reluctantly starting him in the flex spot, and he kept producing. So it might be another year like that where you have him, you're starting him because he keeps producing. You feel like he's going to fall off a cliff the next week. You're trying to trade him. but I don't know. It almost feels like a James Conner situation when he first went to Arizona, where like he's gonna get hurt. We don't want him. Just trade him at a high, and then he kept producing. But now everyone's back in on James Conner. So
Right.
it might just be
remember
James Conner gets hurt, Tony Pollard doesn't. Who knows?
You know who's a player who's kind of like that? And it's when Le'Veon Bell, he remember he sat that whole season out. That was kind of weird. But D'Angelo Williams came in and was awesome with Pittsburgh. That's kind of it. Kind of feels.
True.
And
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
he came in and you start him, and you're like, I don't really like this, but he's producing. That's what Tony Pollard kind of feels like to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good call. I was thinking of the backfield with him and Jonathan Stewart, but yeah, with Pittsburgh, he was great.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a very good call. It does feel that way. Other Titans news. I think it's very clear atop the wide receiver depth charts, Calvin Ridley, Van Jefferson, and then Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's playing in the slot. But
it's a fun receiving core.
It is because Alik, Ao Manor, and then Shamir DK. Like I like both of them as rookies quite a bit. Ao Manor has been destroying in practices, and I think it's a matter of time before he gets some run as a slot or something. But I don't know. This is a wide receiver core that's going to grow with Cam Ward, and I think be pretty good. I could see them eating into each other during the year at some point. You still got a Conquo, who I think will get more targets this year than last year. But for now, if you need some value guys to take maybe early for early in the year or something, maybe you draft Rashee Rice and you ended up not really getting backups. Van Jefferson's going to get a lot of run. Tyler Lockett's the veteran. He'll get a lot of runs. So those are names you can look at. They don't move the needle a ton, but they'll be undrafted at least for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We glossed over this real quick. Randy brought up Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is getting unfairly clowned online for not knowing what tolls are. Like those don't exist outside of like the eastern part of the country.
And they're the worst. I hate tolls. It's so stupid. Like just
why should you have to pay for right? Why should you have to pay for a road twice?
No, it's so stupid. And then I get ticketed because I didn't stop or something. It's so dumb.
Right.
It's so stupid. Bad. At least like in Europe, that was like my biggest fear, by the way. It's like there's going to be tolls the entire way. And then if I get fucking penalized or whatever in another country, I'm screwed.
Right.
Little did I know I was going to get a ticket in Slovakia the second I step off an airplane. But yeah, but they have it figured out. Like if you rent a car over there, it's just built into your rental car that it pays for it automatically. That's all it needs to be here. Just do that.
Right.
Dumb. But yeah, that's that. I mean, you like this one. I love Wan'Dale Robinson. No one's talking about him. He played outside receiver in preseason game, which is completely different. Always a slot. Now he's playing outside. That just means he's going to be on. We know Malik Neighbors. Okay. Are we